Family, good morning. It is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Could I get a roll tide? Inside the comment box, thank you so much for being here for the first Monday show of the year. There's only 52 Mondays, right, in the year. We get 52 of them, so we have to do it right, and I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for being here on the show today. I got a banger show for you. We're going to go over the transfer portal targets, and I think I have a real emphasis on the offensive line, as we've been discussing as we get together on here the last couple of days, and there's been a lot to kind of go through, break down. But I think a lot of the focus clearly is on the offensive line inside the trenches. Would you agree with me inside the comment box? So I think that is a good place to start, and I think that'll kind of be a meat of the show. If you caught us for Wake Up Bama this morning at 4 in the morning, thank you very much for your continued support. We appreciate that, and that's a podcast that I really enjoy putting out. And I want you to know that, like, every single video, a lot goes into it, right? Like, I just don't, put out the video. I spend probably an hour pre-show for these particular live shows. For Wake Up Bama, I dedicate a great amount of time to make sure that the audio is lined up, that we have the right components to make something that isn't duplicated, is very good, is always fresh. So I want you to know that's always a pledge to you, and I really appreciate you guys being fan funders, supporting us with super chats, and just being in the corner right here on Bama Football on YouTube. As I always say, in the graphics, you see something, say something. Something needs to be edited, is fine. I'm cool. I'm accountable for all the graphics that we put on here. So I want you to know that it's really good. I'm really receptive towards your feedback inside the comment box. So don't feel that you can't have your say. I appreciate you guys very much, and thank you very much for being here again. So with that said, let's get to the first topic, and that was this morning, right? Parker Brailsford announces that he is headed to the NFL as a redshirt junior. Now, he's the first, redshirt junior that has announced for the NFL. We're all kind of waiting for what Ty Simpson will do, and maybe that decision will come this week. I don't know. It is something we are tracking. Now, with Parker Brailsford, I was interested to see what was going to go on here because I follow the NFL draft. I look at mock drafts as well, and I was interested to see what Parker Brailsford could do because I think he's a guy who could theoretically have came back, and I'm going to show you a graphic here pretty soon. Alabama's offensive line literally has no veterans. No veterans, no experience outside of Michael Carroll, who started as a true freshman. So with Parker Brailsford leaving, we wish him well. And were you surprised that he left? Did you think there was any chance that he could come back? I don't know. I was kind of on the fence, but now he's gone, a multi-year start at the University of Alabama. And I kind of think, when I reflect on a player like Parker Brailsford, this guy came in at a perfect time when Alabama needed a center. Coach Kalen DeBoer when he came in, right, it seemed like we were lost at the center position, right? Because the center before him was Seth McLaughlin, right? So you really had to get an upgrade right away, and he was the first transfer portal prospect that came with Coach Kalen DeBoer. So to see him leaving after 2 seasons, we wish him well. I get it. The offensive line wasn't it this year. Parker Brailsford was steady. Most importantly, he snapped the football correctly. How many botch snaps did this guy have? Right? Remember? Because there for a while, we couldn't even snap the football. So he kind of took care of that. And I think though he was undersized, he did a really good job. Shoot, how many passes did he catch? Right? He caught like 2 passes or something like that. I don't know. So Parker Brailsford will move on to the NFL draft. Let's see. Justin says, Kyle, is the portal window the only one before the 2026 season? Yes. And that's a good question. Look, all questions are good questions. This is the only transfer portal window that we have this entire season. And there used to be 2 portal opportunities, which is absolutely crazy to think about. But this is the one. And it'll be from January 2nd to, I think, like January 16th. That is the transfer portal window. And the same thing, the same timing in terms of when prospects who are eligible for the draft can make announcements. Now, we still are waiting on an announcement from Caden Proctor. I fully expect Caden Proctor, who's a true junior, to go to the NFL. It would be like the most shocking thing if he does not come in. All right. Angel says that he can't hear the audio. Can you guys not hear me? I mean, it seems like the audio is fine on here. You guys good on audio? Give me a thumbs up inside the comment box if you are. Jarvis says it's Portal Combat, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great analogy for it. And I think, I was talking to some friends that also cover other football teams around the country, and I wanted to have a graphic built for this. But, Nebraska is about the same amount as Alabama, right? Notre Dame, about the same as Alabama. And Georgia, they don't have as many transfers out, but I talked to, individual people, and they said only one prospect was kind of like an impact player that was leaving Nebraska, Notre Dame, Georgia. And I said same for Alabama, right? 16 out, really one guy that would be impactful, and that is Keon Keeley. So, Parker Brailsford, we wish you well, bro. I thought he did a good job. Was he the best center that Alabama's ever had? I don't think so, but he fit a need, and he did his job the last couple years. Here's a look, because I know what you guys are thinking. So who left from the offensive line? I know your biggest question, too, is like, who's coming back? Well, I got you covered with that as well. And this morning I spent 25 minutes on this next graphic. 25 minutes. Yeah, you're like, what? God, what are you doing? Yeah, I know, but I had to get this next graphic done, all right? So this particular graphic shows you all the offensive linemen that are leaving either because of eligibility or the NFL, all right? So Caden Proctor over here on the left, we fully anticipate him to go to the NFL. Gino Vandermark, who is a Swiss Army knife for Alabama, he bounced out because of eligibility. Same thing with Cam Dewberry, Jaden Roberts. Jaden Roberts, never panned out, but you could still list those top two guys as starters clearly, right? You also have Joseph Ionita, right? Joseph Ionita was the backup center. You also have Olas Allen, and he's transferring. He was a tackle. Micah DeBose, he's a freshman. He's out of here. Rock Montgomery, he was a center. He's out of here. Wilkin Forby, he is transferring. That is new as of last night. And then Parker Brailsford, that is new today with him announcing for the NFL draft. One thing that I noticed within this particular graphic right here is that I feel Alabama certainly needs to load up on some centers. The entire offensive line. We get it. It seems like there's a completely overhaul of the offensive line. But just stay with me here. Gino Vandermark was the backup center, right? If he wasn't playing guard and Parker Brailsford had to go out, it was Vandermark, okay? So he was a center. Parker Brailsford was a starter, so there's two centers, right? Well, Joseph Ionita was also center. He's out. And then Rock Montgomery played center. He was like the fourth center. He's out. That's four centers, right? So that to me is a little bit alarming. Now, guards, you lose Cam Dewberry, Gino, you lose everybody, right? I know a lot of people celebrating about Wilkin Forby being gone. And I think, like I say, I do feel that there's three buckets. If you listen to Wake Up Bama this morning, there's three buckets that I put the portal players in. Bucket number one, the player got poached. Bucket number two, trimming the fat. It wasn't going to work out. We were probably paying you too much. And then bucket number three, the player just wanted instant playing time, and they feel they should be playing. And those are the three buckets that we have for the transfer portal, right? Sorry, I had to keep looking at my watch because all these tweets, it is unbelievable. If you have like your notifications turned on, oh my goodness, the amount of transfers is crazy, right? Anyone on here that we're really going to be missing? Look, these guys were experienced. They move on. They were starters. But it seems like a little bit of cleaning house too, right? And I'm not trying to spin this into a positive way. It's just like eligibility. You lose guys. You like their experience. Some of the guys, weren't gonna play. What was Rock Montgomery gonna do? How about Micah DeBose? Right? So I know what you're thinking. You're like, okay, well, who the hell's coming back, right? I'll show you that graphic in just a minute regarding the offensive line. Here's the entire transfer portal board for Alabama, besides offensive linemen. Okay, I think we're up to 16 right now. Okay, 16 guys. Bubba Hampton, not a loss. Jalen Hell, love the kid, love the story. He's out of here. Jalen Mbakwe, he's gone. I think that could have been maybe trimming the fat / portal. And by the way, did you see that Bach? He's visiting Georgia and Ole Miss and Georgia Tech. Hate to see him go to Georgia, right? I don't want Jalen and Bachwood going to Georgia, period. Or Ole Miss. Ionita, as we said, Cam Howard, Noah Carter. I think that hurts, as we've discussed a couple days in a row. Richard Young up at the top wasn't going to play here. Peter Taro, Cole, Connor Talty became the man. Cole Adams wants to play. He's not going to play here. Wants to play. He wants to do more than return punts, right? Formby out of here. Keon Keeley, that one hurts. Certainly that one hurts. All right, and then Rico Scott. Rico Scott, I think, is probably a playing time issue. And I think maybe a little bit, this is weird to say, but maybe kind of trimming the fat because he probably doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. But you were probably paying Rico a good amount, and you want some other wide receivers that can come in and do like an instant impact, right? And he points out inside the comment box, Kyle, do you realize that 30% of the players are in the transfer portal? Yeah, I've seen that number. That's crazy, right? 3 out of 10 players. I mean, that's a heavy amount. And Big D inside the comment box says, I'm surprised Jaden Roberts is still on the roster. Yeah, he's leaving because of eligibility. He never played, and his mom wanted him to play more. She was vocal on social media. He never played. He was never. It was hard for that guy to be healthy, unfortunately, man. Crazy. So that's kind of your transfer portal. Who's the biggest loss, fam, when you're looking at this board? Who would you say is the biggest loss? If you had to give me like your top 3. I would definitely say I would go Keon Keeley. I guess Noah. I'm still staying with Noah Carter. I guess Jalen Mbakwe. Yeah, I know it's kind of weird with me going Jalen Mbakwe. I just feel like in like the small opportunities I saw him play, I liked his game. Right, in-state guy, I like him, but I think it's Keon Keeley 100%. I mean, if you guys aren't sweating Keon Keeley, like that guy's he's a player for sure. He would have been a starter. A big-time starter. I think I said yesterday, even before he hit the transfer portal, that I thought he'd probably make more of an impact than LT Overton. Right? So, and guys I'm still watching, look, I am 1,000,000% watching Austin Mack. I don't know. I want to make sure, like, we have, because all this revolves around like Ty Simpson, because I think Nick Kelly of AL.com put out an interview last night, or an article rather, that said the 2 options for Ty that are on the table, he's not transferring somewhere. I didn't think he was transferring anywhere either. I was like, that sounds ridiculous. But I was like, the places he's the places that the decisions that he has, NFL or come back to Bama. He's going to the NFL. I don't know why they even have to prolong it. He's going. He's going to the NFL. So we're watching that when it comes on. I'm sure I'll be live. But, yeah, Ty Simpson, I think the decision is easy, and go to the NFL. Because if he comes back, you lose 2. Plain and simple. There's no way that Keelan Russell and Austin Mack, who couldn't, play this year, are going to sit again. There's just no way. All right, let's do some AM shout-outs. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for kicking it with me right here on Bama Football this morning. Let's see who's up in the house on this beautiful Monday, January 5th. I appreciate you guys kicking it with me here on Bama Football on YouTube. Oh, that graphic that I've been talking about, it's coming later in the show. Sorry, I was like, where is this graphic I've been talking about? All right, let's see. I guess we'll change up the New Year stuff, the graphics, after today, but, it's the 5th. By the way, I was late to put away all my Christmas decorations. I put everything away yesterday, got everything organized, I did a complete Sunday reset. You're like, Kyle, how are you doing all that? You were live for 3 hours. It takes 2 hours to do Wake Up Bama. Like, when you do that, you made food. Yeah, I know. We got it done. I don't know how. but we were able to get it done. All right, North Alabama Storm Chase, man. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Robert, what's up, man? Thank you very much for kicking it with us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Dano, good morning to you. Jarvis, what's up, bro? He says Portal Combat in full effect. Good to see you, Crimson Angel. Jason Layfield, what's up, man? Good morning to you. The Champ, what's up, dog? Yo, Big, what's up, man? Good to see you as well. Miss Crystal Jones, Miss Amanda Jane, thank you very much for being here. Show 44, what's up? I think I said what's up to Young C. Bruce Watson, good morning. Carson Truel is saying, Kyle, what's up, Carson? Good to see you. Justin, Roll Tide Roll. Hunter is saying, Roll Tide. Marquise Washington, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Owen, good to see you, man. I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much for the support. Robert Bradley Jr., what's up, man? BJ, good to see you, man. Good morning to you. Hope you're off to a beautiful Monday. Ricky White, what's up, man? Good to see you. He's saying, good morning, chat. Yeah, good morning to you, man. Quintez Caldwell. Man, I like that name. Quintez Caldwell? That sounds like a name on like NCAA football, you know? Like a guy, he's like he'd be like a receiver. And you like definitely have to go get him. Quintez Caldwell. Oh, I'm sending the house, Quintez, right? All right, who else we got up in the house today? We got Cook Barlow saying, yo, what's up, man? Tide will rise. Good to see you. Jamie Bird, good to see you, man. I appreciate it. Bama Man in the 256. And Tony Smith saying, yo, Cam, $2 million. And Miss Anna, what's up? Anna from the ATL, the Aliens. And Joanne, what's up, man? Good to see you. Tonette, turn it up, Tonette. And the 19064-7 is saying good morning. The Tide will be fine. All right, fam. Yeah, I appreciate it. And Raiders fire Pete Carroll. Really? Did that come in? Because I saw that the Falcons fired their coach too. Hey, does anybody think that Kirby Smart might one day become the head football coach of the Falcons? Or is that too crazy? I don't know. Would it be easier coaching the Falcons than it would be like dealing with all this stuff at the college level? Seriously. I don't know. It kind of seems like it. Yeah, that just in, man. The Raiders have fired Pete Carroll. And guess who the Raiders are targeting? You said it, I did it. Guess who the Raiders are targeting on their hot board? I'm just kidding. All right, fam, think about becoming a fan funder. If you're not a fan funder, I appreciate you guys, and I need your support as we cruise away, in January, February, March. Like those are months where I need you guys' support more than ever. So think about becoming a fan funder. There's different levels, easy to sign up. There's even a level to become a live show sponsor and, of course, a Wake Up Bama sponsor. So if you're into that, I appreciate your consideration. If you're a business owner, hit me up. I got thousands of Alabama fans. I got 118,000 subscribers. That needs to be updated. And then I think I got like 78,000 on Facebook, and then like 50 or close to 50,000 on TikTok, which I don't even post seldomly, right? But all the news right here on Bama Football on YouTube. And I sincerely appreciate you guys being here right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you think there's hope for Keon Keeley to maybe come out of the portal? Or do you think that this ship has sailed? And the reason I say this is because I think if in the past, if a player went in the portal that we all knew that was going to be a starter, that had a chance to play, Alabama would make a run at him and, work things out, right? And I think, like, you look at a guy like Keon Keeley, and I think in life, and as I was saying this morning on Wake Up Bama, it's like if you ever want to kind of renegotiate, you ever bought a car? Who's bought a car in here? You ever walked into a car dealership? Right? It's always who speaks first loses, right? Whoever talks numbers first loses. So the best thing to do when you buy your next car is leave. Walk out. Ignore the callback, right? You gotta play the game. And I know this is crazy, but maybe he didn't get the deal that he wanted. You got Jordan Renaud right behind you. Fatoa Henry behind him. I don't know. You got Noah Wilson. See, I think that you need to just figure it out with Keon Keeley. So maybe there's hope for him because we've seen this in the past. Somebody leaves, The only time I think we've seen it so far was like Jalen Mbakwe, and at that point, I didn't think that that didn't make sense because we knew he wasn't going to play this year. Keon Keeley's a bona fide starter. I know some people. I'm surprised to see some people weren't impressed with him because this guy he's a dog, and we got guys behind him for sure. But if it can work out with Keon Keeley, I hope they can. So who knows? It's not over till it's over. But I'm saying, maybe think about Keon Keeley in Alabama making something happen maybe before the transfer closes, right? I know Dano. He only had 15 tackles, but he wasn't a starter. He was behind LT Overton, right? And at that bandit position, it's not a position where you're going to rack up a ton of tackles. It's more about what you can do in terms of containment, getting after the quarterback, even dropping in the zone coverages in certain situations, which Keon Keeley is super athletic dude, man. So, and remember, he played outside linebacker before they put like 25 pounds on him. So, in my opinion, I hope they can get something worked out with Keon Keeley. I hate to see him bounce out. All right. Did you see this about Wilkin Forby? All right. So Wilkin Forby has a no contact tag. So you're like, what the hell is this? Wilkin Forby he entered yesterday and immediately had a tag. Isn't that interesting? That kind of goes with like the almost kind of like trimming the fat poaching bucket. Where do y'all think he's going to? Hey, and Jeff talking about Bama basketball. Heck yeah, dog. I watched that Kentucky game, man. Yo, man, off the bench, how about Noah Williamson? Man, I've been waiting for him to do something for a long time. He finally had kind of his coming out party. Yeah, we talked about them, I think, on Sunday, on the Sunday podcast. Huge fan of Nate Oates in his game. It kind of feels like B-Rob. I'm a B-Rob. I think he might go to LSU. I kind of feel what you guys are saying. I think he goes to LSU, Tennessee, or Auburn. I think it's going to be one of the rivals, to be honest. That's going to be weird. B-Rob is saying Kentucky. Wait, you know what? Where is Eric Wolford at right now? Can somebody look that up? Because remember, he was here a couple years ago. I think when Formby just got here. Is Eric Wolford at LSU? Because if he's at LSU, then you can kind of connect the dots, right? And Angels is saying that, the Raiders fired Pete Carroll. Yeah, I just saw that. You think they come after Coach Kalen DeBoer? Oh, my goodness, right? Now it's the NFL. Maybe they go after Ryan Grubb. I mean, their offense, it's the perfect offense for Ryan Grubb. I'm just kidding. But still, you know how mad Ashton Jeanty would be? Man, the Raiders just don't have a quarterback. Didn't they have Geno Smith this past year? Come on. Yeah, I don't know. So somebody wants Formby bad because he has a no contact tag. And I think this was a position is like, look, they gave him an opportunity to work out at tackle. It didn't work out. And then at the guard position, so you're just like, yo, all right. Good, man. We wish you well, but we got to move on from you, Formby. All right. So Taco Casa going to the Bayou. Right? What would be a good restaurant name if Taco Casa went to Louisiana? How about Bayou Taco? Bayou Taco. Yeah, that's perfect. Bayou Taco, right? Or no, how about this? Taco Bayou. Oh my God, that's perfect. Taco Bayou. Please? Right? Like a Taco Bayou? Man. Oh, Eric Wolford's back at Kentucky. Okay. All right. So maybe Kentucky. Taco Bayou. Get it? Does anybody get that? All right. So look, what do you think is happening? Like in like this world that we're in right here? Do you think A, trimming the fat? Do you think there's like a deeper issue? This is like a DeBoer thing. Do you think this is kind of an organizational thing? Do you think this is just the Portal world, Portal Combat? I need to use that, Jarvis. Portal Combat. Is it just Portal Combat? Johnny Cage wins Flawless. Did they say flawless in Mortal Kombat, right? Or are you just frustrated? All right, so early votes is A and A, C, B. I think it's kind of normal. Yeah, I think it's probably C. It's just Portal World, and it's going to be up to the coaches to be able to retool quickly. And you're going to always have a rotating roster. It's going to be rare to see a guy. That's why I think high school recruiting is completely pointless. And I know they're like, what? High school recruiting is like what I grew up on, reading magazines. And high school recruiting does not mean anything anymore. It's all about the portal. It's all about the portal. It is, because the guys don't stay here long. Yeah, is it good to get guys in and have development? None of these guys stay. We have data that all the receivers from 2020 to 2023 that we had all this recruiting coverage about, they're gone. So recruiting is high school recruiting. Yeah, you get the guys in and you maybe can play a couple, but for the most part, they're portal surfers. They're portal hopping. And I think a lot of those guys use the Alabama brand to come here, get branded, get stamped by Bama, and then bounce out. Right? Yes, and Paul Feinbaum, you were right. Parker Brailsford did declare for the NFL draft this morning, 100%. But I think this is what it is. We live in this world where it is portal combat, and, we'll just have to see how it goes. And I think it's kind of tied into D, because I think as Alabama football fans, as fans of a team, you want to be able to have connection with these players, right? Especially if you're going to buy their jerseys. Man, can you imagine buying a jersey right now? I wouldn't buy anybody's jersey. Not unless you could change colors on it, right? Imagine, you're just not going to have that loyalty. And Cam's asked a few times, is Keon Keeley coming back? We do not know. We are only assuming, or we're hoping that Keon Keeley comes out. But right now he's in the transfer portal. And the longer he stays in the transfer portal, I think, the kind of writing is on the wall. Our first super chat in for the day. I appreciate it, man. Toast, what's up, bro? Good to see you. Formby is LSU bound. We need to go after the NC State star starting right tackle. I appreciate the super chat. Yeah, and as a lot of you have pointed out, Eric Wolford went to LSU. That's why I'm tying the dots from I think Formby's going to LSU. Right? Okay, so you guys, we're going to go over transfer portal targets here in just a second. We're just kind of setting the stage. Does that help to kind of have everything organized? I try to organize it all out because there's so much information to go through. So hopefully it makes sense. Okay, this is the graphic that I spent a lot of time with. Because you're like, well, who the hell's coming back at the offensive line? Right? Who is it? Well, here you go. All right, here's the graphic. All right. And I got all the heights and weights as well. If you need them, just let me know. I'll probably post it inside the bottom of this video. But what's one thing that you notice when looking at this graphic? What is a common theme? These are all the guys that are on scholarship right now. We have 11. Okay. Now the only starter, clearly, Michael Carroll. What do you notice? I think for me, the first thing that I notice is very young. You got the 5 signees down below, with Tyrell Miller being a junior college prospect. Right? You got Michael Carroll, who's the lone starter. It's a rehaul, right? It's a complete rehaul. Yeah, well, Justin, what's up, man? I see you inside the comment box. Michael Carroll started at tackle, so he's the experienced one out of the group. But besides that, man. And look, and your guys' feedback is it doesn't matter because you have this same offensive line coach. I would have thought already that there would have been made some changes. Maybe would it make sense for there to be changes after the transfer portal in terms of coaching, assistants? Or I don't know if you do that now. I don't know. I thought you would have done that maybe after the game. That's why I don't think that there's going to be any coaching changes, because I thought after you got worked by Indiana, you make a change right then. Like that next day you change because the portal starts, right? Kobe, what's up, dog? I don't know. I'm thinking that Alabama should definitely fight for him. I mean, they fought for Jalen Mbakwe. Mbakwe was never going to play here. Keon Keeley is going to start. Yeah, I hope they fight for him. But we'll see. I think they, maybe it's negotiations. I don't know. But the offensive line right here is just limited experience. It's young cats. I don't know. In my personal opinion, I don't think any of the guys on the bottom level that just signed with Alabama are day one starters. I don't. That's just my personal opinion. I'm wrong often, but I don't know if any of those guys on the bottom that just got here are day one starters. And I do love that we got Bear Fretwell. I just like that name. Can you imagine we have, and that's what Coach Kalen DeBoer said. He's like, I never, recruiting the Southeast, I never thought that I'd be recruiting so many Bears, Knicks. Super chat in for my boy Douglas. What's up, Doug? Good to see you, man. I think Happy New Year to you, bro. I think we are waiting until after the transfer portal closes to make changes on the staff. I've heard that too. People have hit me up and said that. And Rex feels that maybe Tyrell Miller could be a starter. Yeah, the junior college transfer. Yeah. You imagine if you had to put like a offensive line together right now? Like we had a game on Saturday. Who would be the center? Right? Yeah, Keelan Russell to go. I'll change the top when I can. I'll change it for the next show. That's one of the things I have written down to change, because there's a lot more transfers. Toasting with another super chat. He says this: maybe since we are recruiting heavy in the portal, offensive line, they don't want to make changes yet because they don't have a coach there. That could definitely be it, right? Hey, like come over here, but we don't know who our offensive line coach is going to be. I don't know. But if we're asking it, the players and the handlers and the parents are asking the same thing, right? I mean, come on. All right, so this is the graphic that took me a long time, because you have to cut, you have to add, you have to do all the information. It took me a little bit of time. But now it is built, right? And now we can kind of add on to it. So hope you guys liked it. And here are the heights and weights of all the players. I forgot I had this graphic. Arkwell, a new gum. Anybody know what that's from? What video game? Sound off inside the comment box. A new gum. 6'6", 328 pounds. I don't know if that guy will ever play here, to be honest. That's just my opinion. Bear Fretwell just got in, 6'7", 290 pounds. Brayson Cooley, signee. Casey Poe. I'd watch for Casey Poe to maybe step up this season, kind of have a breakthrough. Jackson Lloyd, same thing. 6'7", 320 pounds, super athletic. Jared Doherty got in as a signee as well, 6'6", 300 pounds. Mal Waldrip, 6'5", 324 pounds. I think he's out of Phoenix City, if I'm not mistaken. Michael Carroll. Right, 6'6", 321, absolute baller, played, for the Tide this year at the tackle position. Tyrell Miller, a junior college prospect, interior offensive lineman, and then William Sanders. He probably have a breakthrough as well at that inside offensive lineman, like probably a guard, I would imagine. Yes, an agent. You got it right, bro. Right, Street Fighter. Ryu. Is that who you were, agent? Were you Ryu? I was E Honda. Remember E Honda? He was like the what was he? He was like the sumo wrestler, right? And you would just hit Y as fast as you could. Remember this? It was like his hand was up. Man, if you could hit it fast enough, you could dominate. JTL is trying to get Ty Simpson to go to LSU. What's up, JTL? Hey, JTL, how many guys you have in the portal from LSU? And how many, like, impactful guys? Yeah, Vega was cool. How about Blanca? How he, like, bites you and, like, electrocute you? Man, Street Fighter was tight, right? I'm trying to see if I have, I think I have the Street Fighter game. I'll show you guys another time. I have all the games. I have like all the old school games. Okay, here's some new targets for the Crimson Tide. All right. So we got 3 offensive linemen that we are tracking. Okay. So we'll start from the left and work our way to the right. Jimothy Lewis. All right. So Jimothy Lewis. How about that? Have you ever met anybody in your life named Jimothy? Yo, I like Jimothy. I've never heard that name before. Jimothy Lewis. He's already in town. He was in town yesterday, walking around Tuscaloosa. Massive human. 6'6", 320 pounds. Mississippi State. He saw some playing time last year, for sure. Right? So Jimothy Lewis is a prospect that is in town and that Alabama has offered. Clearly, he would be a tackle, right? I don't know where he ranks in terms of like the portal rankings. I don't really care right now. I'm just trying to load up on offensive linemen, right? And Levi with the super chat says, "Good morning, Roll Tide fam. Checking to see how your family's doing. Continuing to pray for your family." I appreciate it. Thank you so much. As you know, a couple weeks ago, actually on December 27th, my family suffered a really tragic loss. So I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much. I was always, I was talking with my mom this morning. She's doing well. As best as she can as she's going through the grieving process, and everybody's gone through the grieving process or will at some point in life. It's something, unfortunately, that we have to go through, and there's different stages of grief that you go through. There's different ways that, grief happens to you, and all you can do is, I think, get support, right, from other people and continue just to trust in God, and that's kind of where your faith comes into play. But, yeah, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, for the super chat and for the support. So thank you so much. So Jimothy Lewis is a prospect that is in town. And we also have another offensive lineman, Caden Strayhorn. Okay, so Caden Strayhorn is in town. He is from Michigan. I would imagine, based on his size, that he is an interior offensive lineman as well. I think there might be a connection with Strayhorn's dad that he might. I think he played for Saban. I forget. I have to go over it. But he is also in. But I think the real connection is, I think Strayhorn and Michael Carroll played together at IMG. Okay, so that is a connection. And also, right, like Courtney Morgan, Michigan. He wasn't there when Courtney Morgan was, but kind of the Michigan whole tie-in. So Caden Strayhorn also expected to visit the Alabama Crimson Tide. So those are really good notes in terms of offensive linemen to track. So keep track with your, recruiting sites and all that as that continues to unfold. And then also Brock Riker. I don't know if Alabama has scheduled a visit with him or not, but he is 6'4", 295 pounds, and he played center. I think he had 868 snaps last year with Texas State. Would you guys like all these linemen? Are you interested in one more than the other? Let me know inside the comment box. I really haven't even seen Jimothy play yet. I want to. I want to, see what he brings to the table. All these guys, really. Like, is any one of these guys, like, would they be a day one starter here? Right? Because I just showed you how many offensive linemen we have. I don't even know what the offensive line would look like if we had to play a game this Saturday. Cam says that Strayhorn is mid. Wasn't even a starter at Michigan. Okay. Thanks for that. Andy says, Kyle, do you think KD has sought out Coach Saban's advice? We've talked about that a couple different times. I'm sure. Look, Alabama's paying Coach Saban $500,000 a year, and I think that covers a lot, right? I think most of it is just brand integrity. Every single time that Coach Saban is on game day, it's a huge script day. Because let's face it, Coach Saban is Alabama, right? So I think it's brand recognition every single time Saban's there. Yeah, Neil, I get it. Okay, you know what? A lot of feedback on the ticker. So I'm going to stop the show, and I'm going to update the ticker. Okay. The latest. Alabama has 16 in the transfer portal. Parker Brailsford declares for the NFL draft. All right. There you go. And I think when you have Coach Saban, people didn't believe me on this, but DeBoer literally moved right across the street from Coach Saban. I got into it with sometime. I didn't like get into it, but like there was a guy who just didn't believe me on Facebook. He was like, no, they didn't. They don't live together. They don't live next to each other. Yes, they do. They're literally next door neighbors. Like your next door neighbor across from you, that is how they, could they go out and have coffee together? I don't think so. I think they talk every once in a while, but I don't think that Saban is giving him any advice in terms of how to run the program, the organization. I think Saban is not micromanaging whatsoever Kalen DeBoer. I think he's there to listen, but no, it's DeBoer's program, and DeBoer is in charge of all these decisions that he has to make on his own. And I think that's probably going to be one of the most challenging things for DeBoer over the next month is the fact that, he's probably going to have to make some tough decisions in terms of guys that he's coached with for a really long time, right? And I think you really need to upgrade at the offensive coordinator position, at least from what I saw on the first point. And if you listen to Wake Up Bama, I think I made one damn strong point on the fact that, how do you feel about this? Do you think it's a coincidence that the Seattle Seahawks just won the NFC West, or the NFC overall, after getting rid of Grubb? Like, do you think that's a coincidence? Do you think it's a coincidence that they ran for 180 yards against the San Francisco 49ers? Or do you think that's just like, oh, I don't know, it just happened? No, it's apparent that was what the Seahawks wanted to do, was run the ball. Right? And the further you get away from running the ball, that's the further away you get away from winning games, and especially a championship. You also have Raleek Brown in, all right? And you guys are not going to like to hear this, okay? But Raleek Brown, Alabama wants a start. Alabama, yes. Alabama is looking for a starting running back, okay? They are looking for a starting running back. And you're like, no, they're not. It's Daniel Hill. Really? It's A.K. Deere. Really? It's Xavier Crowell. Really? Well, why have they brought in two starters from NC State and Raleek Brown that had over 160 carries? You think that those guys, with the volume that they had, are going to come over here and play a role like Draylon Washington? No. They need a starting running back. That's what they're telling you. You're telling me, look, Brown, look down here, 186 carries. You think he's going to come and be like behind A.K. Deere? Alabama needs a starting running back. They brought in Hollywood Smothers. He was in here yesterday. They're bringing in Raleek Brown, okay? So I know that might not be popular because the freshman is the best guy, right, in the room. And Daniel Hill's the best guy for the job. Daniel Hill, again, look, these guys are professional athletes. I'm sure they're amazing kids and amazing people, but the truth has to be stated. Daniel Hill is slow. He's slow. He's big, and on 4th and 1, you should give him the football. You shouldn't run Wildcat with him. And Cam, I'm fully aware that Washington ran the ball. That was a couple years ago. But since then, Ryan Grubb completely went away from running the football. Seattle Seahawks ranked 28 out of 32. Alabama ranked 120th, okay? The last 2 years' data points is what I'm going off of, and it's been absolutely terrible. He doesn't want to run the ball. He wants to pass the ball, okay? The last 2 years give me far more data than when Washington in 2023. The last 2 years are too telling. So either he gets back to that or he gets packing because it's not going to cut it. Alabama fans want this: defense, elite recruiting, and running the football. That is like those are the ingredients to winning games. And if you don't have those ingredients, you're not going to win games. Indiana did all those things, right? So Raleek Brown, and then other prospects to keep watch. This is kind of a spotlight on the center. 6'4", played in 868 snaps at center, native of Brock, Texas. He was a former 3-star. He has tons of offers from everywhere. I haven't even seen if this guy has lined up a visit yet with the Tide. Probably will. I don't know. Other prospects that they are going after include Cam Coleman. I'll come back to him in a second. Caleb Woodson. I am really hoping that things work out for Caleb Woodson. As we've talked about on roster management, Alabama has no experience at the inside linebacker position following the departures of Deontay Lawson, Jefferson, and Nakai Hill-Green, right? 6'3", 230 pounds. He had 57 tackles last year. Hopefully you can get things buttoned up with Woodson or somebody else that has experience. And I'm not saying that I don't like the guys that are coming in. They just have no experience. Devin Tompkins, defensive tackle coming in from USC. He's visiting. I think he'll be here either today or tomorrow. 6'5", 285 pounds. I think he registered, 31 tackles last year. And then Hollywood Smothers, again, right? Look, either you get Raleek Brown or Hollywood Smothers or somebody else. It's telling you that Alabama wants a starting running back. This guy had 160 carries last year, 939 yards. That's the first question I'm asking when I'm sitting down with Coach Kalen DeBoer with his agent or whoever. I'm like, all right, what's the offensive philosophy? Because a lot of people are saying that you guys don't want to run the ball. Like, what does it look like as we go forward with a new quarterback? That's all you have to ask. And what does the offensive line look like? Well, yeah, we plan to get back to, running the ball. We plan to be a 60-40 type team. And, we see you hitting, 160 carries. And we got some guys behind you that will come in and give you a blow. But, we feel that we can give you 150 carries and we can get you to 1,000 yards, right? Maverick points out that Raleek Brown is also visiting Indiana. Yeah, I mean, the way that Indiana ran the ball, shoot. Those two good running backs were absolutely fantastic. Probably the best running backs that we saw this year, right? North Alabama Storm Chase says, Kyle, why do we keep talking about these recruits and transfers when the clear problem is development in the coaching? Do a whole show on coaching woes. Well, I think it's apparent. I mean, no coaching changes have been made. So we could, assess the coaches, but I think we all know what the problem is. I say it's the offensive coordinator. I think a lot of people say it's the offensive line coach. I'd co-sign on that. But there's not going to be changes made. I mean, the only changes that have been made really are guys that chose to leave on their own merit. Like Nick Sheridan, he left to Michigan State because, right, he got an offensive coordinator job. And then Jamarcus Shepard, he left to Oregon State because he got a head coaching job. But outside of that, it's like no guys have been let go from Coach Kalen DeBoer, in to my knowledge, right? A little bit more detail on Hollywood Smothers. He had 4 100-yard games, ran for 164 yards against Wake Forest, elite speed, great vision, a really good cutting ability, right? I think that's what gives a lot of people hope is something like this. Like, a lot of people want to believe that Ryan Grubb, since he ran for 1,200 yards with Dylan Johnson that year, they actually had another running back that ran for a lot of yards that year. That's why I was so high on this guy. Honestly, I was like, man, we're going to have great balance, great detail with Ryan Grubb. But I think I see two similar situations in the past 2 years where he went away from running the ball. So either he gets back to what he was doing back then, but if he goes forward again and he's not going to run the football or put a heavy focus on the football, then the guy needs to kick rocks. I'm sorry. I don't. This past year of not running the football, and the way that he chose to run the football on odd downs, it made no sense, some of the decisions that he made. But look, he's not going anywhere. Ryan Grubb is going to be here. Kane Womack, Max Tooney had 164 yards in one game. He had 939 yards on the season. But I think it's apparent that Alabama wants a starting running back. And I think when you look to a prospect like Cam Coleman, who's visiting Wednesday, I was actually talking to somebody recently, and it made me feel a little bit more hopeful that Cam Coleman might have a little bit more interest in Alabama than anticipated. I would have thought maybe a couple days ago when it came out that Cam Coleman was visiting Alabama that there's no way, no chance. He's going somewhere else, right? But I think there's let's just call it, there's some connections on the back end to why this might make sense for Cam Coleman. And I think because you pretty much had everybody from the wide receiver position, or at least, a good amount, hit the transfer portal. Like, look at this, fam. Cole Adams, out of here. Rico Scott, out of here, right? Jalen Hell, out of here. Jalen Mbakwe, out of here. That probably frees up a good amount of money to be able to get somebody like Cam Coleman, right? I think Rico was actually making a good amount. Jalen Mbakwe probably was too. I don't know what they're paying the other guys. But Cam Coleman, I think it's a little bit more realistic. So maybe let's see what happens on Wednesday and kind of track that. That would be something that breaks the internet. Now, I agree with Dano in part. Is like, you don't necessarily need Cam. You need offensive linemen. I would love for them to sign those 3 linemen and 2 more, right? But a guy like Cam Coleman, I mean, shoot, I wouldn't be mad about getting the number 1 player in the transfer portal. You know what I'm saying? How many guys are in the portal right now? 5,000? This guy's ranked number 1, right? So I think in terms of, maybe if Cam Coleman could come in, I think that would be beneficial for Alabama overall, just kind of from a morale standpoint. And I think, look, the other thing we talk about is brand too. People out there talking like smack about Bama like I never seen before. It's like, oh my goodness, they just can't stop. And yeah, Georgia lost, right? They're out. Ohio State lost. Texas Tech lost as well. Those are teams that were, lost in the quarterfinal round, but none of them played worse than Alabama. Like, right? Like, Alabama just got absolutely like de-pantsed on national television. It's not good for the brand. At least Ohio State, they fought. Georgia fought. Texas Tech just didn't have a quarterback. I never thought that they were that good anyways, to be honest, right? But from the receiver standpoint, is there a major loss here? Not really. I mean, like I said, we have difference of opinions. You guys don't like Jalen Mbakwe. I think, I liked him in the opportunities that he had, but we'll never know unless he goes somewhere else and just catches like 90 passes and, plays defensive back as well. Derek Meadows, I know you guys are really excited about him. Can't wait to see him play. I mean, he got knocked out against Missouri, so we don't really see too much of him. But, man, 6'5". Look at Sedarian Morgan. He could be a guy that steps on the field and makes plays. Isaiah Horton, right? Still waiting on Isaiah Horton. He hasn't made a decision yet. Ryan, maybe he has a bounce back season. He actually, he caught a pass against Indiana that anybody probably would have dropped, and he caught that pass and hung on. He got tagged. And then, of course, Lazier Brooks, who is MIA against Indiana. But I don't think that was his fault. I just, couldn't get any offense going against Indiana. All right, fam, as you know, video is powered by Sleeper. Download Sleeper, the app, $20 upon the entry. Terms and conditions apply, available in 25 states. Get a $100 deposit match. It's perfect for the NFL playoffs. You can do more or less, right? Brock Purdy going to throw for more than like 240 yards or less. Pete Carroll or, the Raiders, whatever. You got tons of sleeper options. That's where I play fantasy football. By the way, made it to the championship in both of my leagues, winning one. Did over analysis paralysis in the other, so I took second place. I'm still upset about that. With that said, I will take some calls today. So 250-850-205 850-1994. There we go. Is a call online. Please, if you call in, there's probably someone behind you that also wants to talk. So kind of make room, for those behind you. We're talking transfer portal. You can ask questions. Give me your take. It's kind of an open show Monday. So with that said, 205-850-1994. The call-in line number is wide open. And I appreciate you guys being here today on this beautiful Monday, January 5th. Who worked out today? Where's my workout crew at? You guys get your workouts in? Let's see. Cool Loso says this: is it just me, or is watching MIA and other teams competent tackling refreshing? I don't know about that. I feel like I guess I compare it to the defense. I do feel like the defense really did a great job as the season went along, and then we had kind of that huge letdown, right, against Indiana. But look, I think there was a lot of times that the defense was just put in some really bad situations, right? I mean, that first one, 34 yards against Fernando Mendoza. What you think is going to happen? Okay, Amanda got it in 4 a.m. Holy cow, that's really early. All right, yeah, I was not too far behind you, but good job, way to get it in. All right, we'll take 469.
What up, Cal? You know who this is.
What's up, man? Appreciate you, Q. Thanks for calling in, bro.
Oh, yes, sir. Man, listen, Alabama, first of all, they need to sit down with Ryan Grubb and get an understanding on what his plan is for Alabama next year. So you plan on running the ball, or we going to see the same stuff we seen this year? If that's the case, they got to get you up out of there. Because, listen, it don't matter who you have on the outside. You can have Jerry Rice or Randy Moss on the outside. If you don't have an O-line, will give your quarterback enough time to throw the ball, it don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
The main focus they need to work on is that O-line.
Yeah.
Like I said before, man, our O-line was so bad, Alabama was number one in Power 5 schools with tackles for losses behind the line of scrimmage when they run it back.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, and good coaches and good defensive coordinators say, hey, we know they can't run the ball. So since we know they can't run the ball without the blitz,
yep,
we're just going to sit back and cover all your receivers. So that's why you see a lot of times Thomas running out the pocket, running for looking for somebody to get open. But when they don't respect your run, what you think they're going to do? Sit back in the zone and just make you make turnovers. That's the first thing they need to do. Sit down with Ryan Grubb, sit down with the board, say, hey, what's the plan for the offense next year?
Mm-hmm.
What are you guys going to do? Because we can't continue to do this. If you look at most teams, when we played Michigan, they ran the ball on us and slaughtered us in the Rose Bowl. Indiana, they ran the ball. That dude only had 97 yards passing. That was it. But they could run the ball.
Let me ask you something, Q, right here. So I have it pulled up. What do you think is happening right now? Is Alabama kind of trimming the fat? They got 16 out. Is there like a deeper issue, kind of like organization, like behind the scenes? Is it just kind of the portal world that we're in, or is it
Hello?
just Q? I'm here. Did you hear what I said? What I asked you?
No, I didn't hear what you said.
All right. So I said, what's going on right now? I have a poll up right now. Is Alabama trimming the fat, transfer portal? Is it a deeper issue, like organization kind of behind the scenes, people not buying in? Is it just kind of the portal world, like portal combat, or is it something else?
I'm gonna tell you this for a fact, Cal, and you know who I know. A lot of them, they were so upset about that loss, man. Those are really leaving the school, man. They're really transferring.
Yeah.
There's some more that's transferring.
Mm-hmm.
So don't be surprised. I told you, what was that, 2 days ago before the portal hit?
Yep.
There was guys transferring.
Yep.
They was hitting the portal. More to come.
Yeah. Yep.
More to come.
Yep.
So, I mean, they not buying into that system, man. They just not.
Mm-hmm.
And listen, when you say people disrespect Alabama, you know why they disrespect Alabama? Because it's not Nick Saban, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Mm-hmm.
You never heard no one say anything. You didn't hear school saying, we want Bama when Nick Saban was there.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana, they cramps in the crowd. We want Bama.
Mm-hmm.
We want Bama.
Mm-hmm.
They was rooting to play Alabama. And they did what they did. They beat the brakes off Alabama. Made us look like a doggone middle school team out there, man. So that's what you're going to get when you got Grubb and DeBoer there.
All right, Q.
It's not a pass team.
Yeah.
Pass the league.
Yep. All right, man. I appreciate the call, Q. Thanks for joining us, bro.
Oh, yes, sir.
All right, man.
Uh-huh.
Take it easy. All right, 706, you're up next. do have a couple tweets coming in that are pretty interesting. We have Phil Yates is currently saying, and he is a fantasy football and draft analyst for ESPN. He is saying Ty Simpson may wind up declaring for the NFL draft. The second half of the season was shaky, but in a weak quarterback class, there's a pathway for him to be a top 2 or 3 quarterback taken. That's following another tweet by Pete Thamel saying Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson hasn't made a decision yet on what he'll do for 2026, according to Peter Webb. We knew that yesterday. The NFL looms the most likely option. 100%. I don't even know why they're dragging it out. Ty Simpson is 1,000,000% going to the NFL. You'd be crazy not to. 706.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Hello?
Who am I on line with and where are you calling in from?
Hey, Levi from Tennessee, from Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Levi, welcome to the show, man. Go ahead.
Wanted to get your thoughts. What is your thoughts on us pursuing 2 running backs out of the transfer portal with the NC State running back, along with the reports of the Arizona State being on campus? Do you think our running back room is going to be too crowded? Do you think we've got another running back that's going to hit the portal if we potentially are entertaining both guys transferring in?
Yeah, good call, Levi. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that Alabama is sending a message that they want a starting running back, and I think that probably makes people's ears perk up because I think Alabama fans are like, hey, we have our running back room. We have Daniel Hill. We have A.K. Deere. We have Kevin Riley. We have Xavier Crowell. Alabama has just told you by entertaining that these guys coming in, none of like Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown, guys who were starters last year, are not going to come over here to Alabama to play the third fiddle, okay? They're just not. I think we can all understand that. So do I think if Alabama does land one of these guys, yeah, I definitely think one of the guys will bounce out from the transfer portal. And, you kind of hope that the development of Xavier Crowell goes well so he can play sooner than later. But I think kind of guys maybe on that watch list are the obvious. I think A.K. Deere and Kevin Riley, because they're recruiting running backs that are very similar to those dimensions. So, I guess we'll have to see. They're not going to get 2 of them, but I think they'll get one of them. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I want to see some faster backs anyways. I don't know. But like everybody is saying, it doesn't matter if we don't have the offensive line coaching and the offensive line talent. So, and that's my biggest question is like, we've kind of gone back and forth. There's people that still believe that that Grubb wants to run the ball. Maybe he does. Maybe we get back to that. Maybe he has like an awakening, kind of goes back to it. I mean, we're going to see this coming year. But if I'm a running back and I'm thinking about Alabama right now, I don't know. I'm kind of leery of it. What else you got, Levi?
Also, too, if Ty decides to leave Alabama, where do you spend the money on another quarterback coming in, or do you spend it on offensive line? What are your thoughts on the money that could potentially be opened up with him departing?
Oh, I think you just go all in on offensive linemen. You get as many offensive linemen, quality offensive linemen, guys that are experienced as possible. I don't think when you look to the Alabama offensive line right now, the only thing that you don't have, you have guys, but as I'm showing this graphic right here on the screen, you just don't have experience. So you need a couple guys that are experienced. You can lean into Michael Carroll. You can lean into Jackson Lloyd. I think those guys are probably ready to start. But you need, a high-quality center. You need a high-quality, guard or 2. Maybe another tackle just to create some competition and create depth. But, yeah, I'm going all in on offensive line because, look, we've discussed this many different times. There's not a lot of issues on defense. You figure out inside linebacker, you can maybe make a change, a cross-train a player or something like that. But the issue is clearly the offensive line, and, that's where I think you go all in. Anything else, Levi?
No, that is it. Thanks for the call.
Yeah, no doubt, man. All right, take it easy. All right, Levi calling from Tennessee with a good call. All right, 256. Hey, what's going on? You're on the line
Hello?
with Kyle. Yeah, who am I on the line with and where are you calling in from?
This is Raj from Madison, Alabama.
Hey, what's up? I appreciate you calling in. Thanks for joining us from Madison. Go ahead. Trash Panda Land.
Hey, this is the best show to get the information. So this is my thing. We've got to get another offensive line coach, and the fact is what the board did with the Seahawks, okay, they could not run the football. And if we can't run the football in this league, you're not going to get anywhere. Plus, on the defensive side of the ball, the defensive line got pushed around, and it's on both sides. Being physical, I've coached football for a long time. Being physical is a mindset. You know, you want, especially on both sides of the ball, you want violent, physical players that's hungry.
Yeah.
And you could see that with Indiana. You could see that with Indiana's team. That's the best well-coached team that I've seen in a long time. But you got Jeremy Pruitt out there also. And I don't know if we fired the guy, the defensive coordinator. I know we need to get rid of the D-line and O-line coach, but the defensive coordinator needs to, bring
what kind of wait?
physicality.
Let me ask you one question. What type of dog is that?
Yeah,
what type of dog we got back there?
Oh, it's a schnoodle. I got two. They're my lockdown corner. They're my lockdown corner.
You getting robbed right now? Why are they going crazy? They don't like the offensive line coach?
Yeah, they're pissed about it too. I had to come back from California with my tail tucked. It's a long trip, but no, I believe deep down though, like Sam Pittman is right now. He could be a consultant right now.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you could have Pruitt on the side there just in case. Mm. But it's what I'm saying is if we don't make these changes, we're just pissing in the wind basically. And that's what's going on. And if they don't make the changes, he's got to have the guts to pull the trigger. I know those are his buddy who he's been with, but when it's your job, you've got to, make these changes because we are not a physical bunch at all. And the games that we've lost, we've got boat raced. I mean, except for the Oklahoma game at Tuscaloosa. Mm-hmm. But don't you agree that being physical is a mindset? It's something that you do every day. You can't just say, we're going to be physical this game. And I don't see it with DeBoer. And that's what I was worried about him coming from the West Coast. It's not a line of scrimmage league out there. It's Mickey Mouse football, circus, trapeze, flying everywhere. That's this league here is beat you up front physically.
100%. You know what? Because the SEC is a gauntlet. Like the teams are so talented in the SEC, and I get it. Like the last two champs that come from the Big Ten, and you have a couple of good teams from the Big Ten. I mean, what Indiana was able to do this year is extraordinary, and that is a much better team than I anticipated. But in terms of the physical aspect, I mean, my goodness, you need absolute warriors in there at the offensive line, inside the trenches. And I do feel that also, and this isn't popular because this is kind of goes against the Coach Kalen DeBoer thing, but a lot of the mentality in your household starts from the head man, right? Like,
exactly.
It does.
Yep.
I mean,
somebody put it on the screen.
You ever grew, if you grew up with like an alpha dad, like you understand like what we're talking about. Like, or if your grandpa, or if your grandma, that's when you get the toughest people. Whoever grew up with like a really tough with the grandma with the backbone, woo.
I grew up with a tough. I grew up with the meanest grandma.
100%. Yeah.
And my dad was hard on us. So when I went into the Marine Corps, it wasn't nothing. I mean, it was, I was used to somebody like that. That's what I'm saying. If we don't have the mindset down there being physical all the time and having that, you're not going to get anywhere. And I agree. And I've always had my teams that I coach. We want them to be violent and physical because this is a game of attrition. I hit you in the mouth, the quarterback in the mouth, get him real good. He's going to think, Well, I miss Dallas Turner. He was the quarterback assassinator. But on the serious note, we have to. If he don't make these changes, like I said, he's pissing in the wind, and it's just not going to work. And I like Kalen Boy. I think he's a good guy. He's got a chance to fix it.
Yeah.
And do you think we can go get offensive linemen that's going to I mean, look at Indiana's line. They look like a damn NFL offensive line.
Yeah,
Just mauled you.
And someone's been bringing up a couple points, and I'm sure you all have seen this. Have you all seen this out there? The Indiana's, I think their age, it was either their age of their offensive linemen or kind of the average age of Indiana. It was like they were like 23, 24, 25-year-olds. It was very interesting to see. It almost reminded me, if you watch basketball, that Illinois team, they were like all Eastern Europeans when they beat Alabama basketball. They were like so much older. I don't, maybe that's like, is that a Big Ten thing or just kind of a coincidence? I don't know. But you have a couple guys that they are currently recruiting: Jimothy Lewis, Caden Strayhorn, Brock Riker. But anyways, I appreciate the dialogue. Please call back again.
Hey, real quick.
Yeah.
This is football's in mind. Look, we had all these great players out there, 4 and 5 stars. And I'll tell you what I told my kids in football. I said, there's 2 hungry dogs. Neither one of them's eaten in a week. And I throw a pork chop out there. I said, who's getting the damn pork chop? And they would look at you like you're crazy, some of them. But it's supposed to say, I'm going to get the dang thing. That's the mentality that we've got to have, because football is a street fight every play. It ain't take a play off. It's playing like your life depends on it. And I did not see that on this team at all. And that's the way you play the game. But anyway, Kyle, I appreciate you. You're awesome, man. Keep bringing us the info, man. You're the man.
All right, man.
Roll Tide, brother.
Roll Tide to you, man. Take it easy, bro. All right, good call, good dialogue. 786, you're up. Hey, welcome to the show. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from?
What's going on, Kyle? It's Chad from Miami.
Hey, what's up, Chad? Good to hear from you, bro. It's been a minute, man. You doing okay?
Yeah, I'm good, man. How about you?
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. Just playing a little therapy, Alabama football, entering the new year. Raising the kids, making some food, trying to get the workout in. Life is life, bro. Life is life. And so welcome to the show, man. I'm glad to hear from you, man. Chad from Miami, come with it, bro.
So last time I called, I think I called in like November or October, and a lot of people in the comments were telling me I was wrong. But I'm not sure if a lot of people in the comments actually play football. I mean, it's one thing to actually watch football, but it's another thing to play football. I said that DeBoer, he wasn't a disciplinarian. I think he was too nice to a lot of the players, and a lot of people thought I was crazy. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, there's one thing about Saban. Saban might not be liked, but everybody respects him. Even a lot of the players that are actually in the league or doing like broadcasts and so on and so forth now, whatever, or former players, like they might not have liked him, but whatever he said or whatever he did to the players or whatever, they all respected him. Especially like I said, a lot of guys in the league, because they said they were getting pretty much NFL training at Alabama, so the NFL was pretty much easier for them. That's why they were still getting the NFL. So my next point is I think it's the coaching and then also the strength and conditioning, because I see a lot of guys who are either out of breath, maybe overweight, or if not also with the coaching, them not getting play calls in, or if not I'm running terrible play calls. So with the offensive coordinator, I'm not sure exactly what he was doing, not running the ball, especially in a lot of games. But he had me lost a lot of the season. It's great that we have skilled players, but come on, bro. Like, it's the SEC. You have to run the ball. The offensive line is terrible. I'm not sure what's going on with the strength and conditioning coach, but I see a lot of guys that are playing on the field are overweight, man. Like, they can't block. They can't set the edge. They can't do anything. So I think those are some of the main points, especially what we saw in the championship game on, was that Friday or Thursday? Yeah. So I don't think it's the issue of our running backs not having experience, because we see Justice Haynes. He left and went to Michigan. He was averaging 70 yards a carry because he was averaging 70 yards a carry until he got injured. So I think it's the issue with the offensive line. So I think with the transfer portal, we need to go get offensive linemen. Forget everything else. We have enough skill position players, and we have a lot of guys coming in through recruiting. We have to fix the offensive line. And then the main thing I saw in the D-line, like I was saying back in October, LT Overton is playing out of position. He's like 6'5", 280, playing defensive end or edge rusher. He should be playing inside. He's not athletic enough at that weight to set the edge for anything. he should be going up against guards. Keon Keeley and Yanze Pierre or James should be setting the edge and pass rushing. I think those guys are athletic enough to do that. A lot of times I saw Yanze drop in or James drop in, which made no sense to me. Like we have defensive linemen rushing and then we have pass rushers dropping in coverage. That made no sense. I'm like, what's the defensive scheme that they actually run in? Like I don't see how that translates to college football or the NFL. So like I was saying, LT Overton should be playing inside and Yanze Pierre and Keon Keeley should be playing on the outside. And also Keon Keeley was overweight. Why is he 280? Like he came into Alabama at 6'5", 240. I thought he should have been around like 250, 260 playing edge rusher. So I think that also goes back to the strength and conditioning coach. So my main point is fix the offensive line, fix the defensive line. I think we have enough skilled players, but we can't get the ball to the skilled players or we can't have the back end of the defense if we don't have the offensive line and defensive line fixed. Those are my main issues with Alabama this past season.
Great calling, Chad. You're getting a lot of positive feedback inside the comment box. I think you hit nail on the head every single time, man. It's good to hear from you, man. Call back again, bro. Always got really good feedback for us, Chad.
All right, thanks, man.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Happy New Year.
You too, bro. All right, my boy Chad out of Miami. All right, 972. Hey, we dropped the call. 972, call back. Still here. Yeah, I put up a poll real quick because I guess we're waiting on this whole decision for Ty Simpson. I'd be 100,000,000% shocked if this guy, comes back to Bama. He's not. He's not coming back to Bama. So if you're out there and you're kind of like having a little anxiety, don't. He's going to the NFL. Anna is saying that the Falcons fired their general manager too. Well, they should have. The way that they remember when what did they do? They signed, was it Kirk Cousins? And then they also signed Michael Penix. That was one of the most ridiculous decisions I've ever seen an organization do, right? Yo, that was absolutely crazy. All right, fam. Well, looks like those are our calls for today, which I appreciate. So thank you so much for kicking it with us right here on Bama Football on YouTube. We'll continue to track the news as it comes in regarding transfer portals, additions, subtractions, whatever it is, breaking news. I'm around, and I'll just be working on all these graphics and organizing the news as it comes in right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Think about becoming a fan funder. If you haven't already, there's a couple different options that you could choose from. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for the super chats. This is where we stand so far in terms of the transfer portal. You are up to 16 names, the latest being on the bottom right. That is Formby, Keon Keeley, and Rico Scott. And then what else we got? We got offensive linemen that have left out kind of in droves, right? Either because of eligibility transferring or declaring for the NFL draft. The latest was Parker Brailsford earlier today. So hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Thank you so much for joining me. Always live at 10 a.m. Monday through Friday. And, of course, when major news happens, I am live. Look for more continued videos to be posted right here from Bama Football on YouTube. And then, of course, every 4 a.m., you got Wake Up Bama. You guys have been enjoying Wake Up Bama? Yeah. A lot goes into it. I'm such a perfectionist that I have to sit down and be organized. And it doesn't have, like, all the fancy graphics or whatever, but I feel it's kind of just an area where you're getting ready during your day, and it can kind of be a really good jump start. And I feel 4 a.m., it's kind of, the go-getter's hour, right? You feel me? All right. Have a beautiful rest of your day. News as it happens right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your consideration and supporting the show. And all your comments inside the comment box. Whether, just know this. If you don't agree with some of my takes or you have a different point of view, it's all good. I'm serious. I would never, have ill will against you. It's cool. Come with different points. I like to think about it. Seriously. So just know that there's a safe place when you're here. I got respect for you guys, and I appreciate you guys kicking with me right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on this beautiful Monday, January 5th. Remember, we got 52 Mondays in this year. All right? We're going to make every single Monday a great one. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Stay tuned. I kind of have a feeling news will be dropping today. All right. Talk to you guys soon.